KTTC News today. I'm Kelsey Marrier, joined with meteorologist Ted Schmidt. You might be wondering why Jess isn't hanging out with us this morning at this current moment. Well, that's because we're changing things up. We're doing things a little bit differently this morning because we had a little bit of a technical issue, and you know, technology sometimes fails, and we just have to pivot. So because of that, we're bringing you our news from our digital news desk live this morning instead of the KTTC studios. So something new for us this morning, Ted.
Different things, yeah. It's kind of fun to do something different once in a while.
It is. Got to change things up, but you don't have to worry.
Right.
We're still going to bring you all your news and weather to get your day started for this Tuesday, which is a pretty big Tuesday. It's primary day for Iowa, but it's also a first alert day. Ted, we're looking ahead to some storms.
Keep an eye on the sky, and of course on your weather app.
Yeah,
you
for
see
sure.
when those warnings come out, if we have some severe warnings, and you can check the radar as well. Because we're watching that pretty closely today. Right now, a very quiet scene, nice and sunny out there this morning already. We have a lot of warm sunshine ahead of these thunderstorms that will eventually develop to the west and move in late in the afternoon and the evening. Right now, yeah, it's a very quiet morning, a warm morning. Temperatures in the 60s, just shy of 70 here at the studio at this hour. It's a first alert day, though, nonetheless, and we're looking at the possibility of strong to severe storms this evening, starting as early as 4 o'clock in some spots. Here in Rochester, closer to 6 to 8 o'clock time frame before we see the storms rumble in from the west. Large hail, damaging winds, the primary threats with those storms, as well as the potential for maybe an inch of rainfall in some of the heaviest rain-producing storms. Right now, a quiet morning, a lot of sunshine in Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, for that matter. There are showers still well west of us along an approaching cold front. Right out the studio at 67 degrees outside the door, the dew point 64. That tells us there's a fair amount of summer warmth and humidity out there already this morning. You kind of feel that out there, especially with not a lot of a breeze. There will be more wind expected our way maybe later today. A little of a gusty breeze to stir the air. It's 65 though right now in Rochester at the airport. Austin 70. Charles City 66. And again, looking at thunderstorms developing, maybe is a brief shower or two after lunchtime, but most of the strong activities after 4 p.m. until 10 o'clock, and large hail damaging winds the primary threats. And if you're heading to the polls, they close at 7 o'clock this evening. Before then, we may have some storms developing. Here's the forecast for Mason City. We have the high temperatures around 84. Breezy, warm, sun-filled day, and then you see those thunderstorms. A brief shower possible as early as 3 o'clock. Best chance of rain for Mason City after 5, and right through the end of the polls at 7 or 8 o'clock this evening. Severe weather a concern there as well. Look for high temperatures here in much of the area, though, for the most part, around 83. Gusty south breeze, and again late afternoon and evening thunderstorms with a gusty breeze, and again the threat of severe weather on this first alert day, very late in the afternoon and during the evening.
Okay, yeah, so as you're heading out the door and kind of planning the rest of your day out, keep in mind the time frame of when those storms are going to be hitting.
Right.
Yeah, it might change your evening plans.
Yeah, if you can get the polls earlier, might work better.
Might be, in your best interest. Well, thank you, Ted. We're happy to have you keeping us informed. And of course, as he mentioned, we got our First Alert weather app as well as our news app that you can download for free on Apple and Android devices to get all of this information up to date at any time, too. Thank you. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. Of course, a big day in Iowa. Voting for the primaries starts in about an hour and a half. 7 o'clock this morning. The closed election will determine who will be moving on in the November 5th general election. Our Eric Min is sharing what voters in the Hawkeye State need when heading to the polls and how many Iowans we can expect at the ballot boxes.
So far, we're monitoring things, and things to be, looks like tomorrow should be a very successful day.
According to Saragordo County Auditor Adam Wetmore, the first thing Iowans need to know is they need to declare their party affiliation and choose that appropriate ballot. He says this is unique to primaries.
So even if a voter is not registered with a party or maybe wants to register with a different party, they can do that right at election day at the polls simply by selecting which party they want to be a member of.
Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate says everyone should research their candidates ahead of the election. He also recommends checking if your voter registration is current. Pate shares he feels polling places will be ready for a busy day.
Our county auditors have been preparing for this for some time. We've got our poll workers all identified, recruited, trained, preparing for it. Ballots are printed. We've done the pre-testing of the tabulators, the public testing where public could watch the process.
Both Pate and Wedmore hope turnout will be good, though historically far fewer people have casted ballots in June when compared to November.
For several reasons, one of those being that voters are not just necessarily choosing a candidate to serve in a position, but they're choosing a candidate to move on to the next general election ballot. So we hope turnout will be good. It's really difficult to tell.
Wedmore explains Iowa voters need to go to specific polling sites with respect to their address and precinct.
Thank you, Eric. And of course, continuing our Iowa primary election coverage this morning is our Charles Kelly joining us now this morning. He's kind of breaking down the specifics of what we need to know when it comes to our primary election ballot. So, Charles, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Kelsey, this morning we're taking a look at Iowa's 2nd congressional district in Northeast Iowa, starting with what Republican voters can expect on their ballots, looking to Floyd County, specifically the Rock Grove voting precinct. This includes the township of Rock Grove and the city of Norris Springs. So the Republican candidate to represent Iowa's 2nd congressional district is Ashley Hinson. She is the current representative for the district. For the state senator, District 30, your two candidates are Waylon Brown, the current senator for the district, and Doug Campbell. Now, looking to another vote on the ballot for State Representative District 60, the Republican candidates are Jane E. Bloomingdale, the current district representative, or John Rosenfeld. To county offices, the County Board of Supervisors, District 3, a vacancy, and the Republican candidate is Boyd Campbell. Morgan Miller is the county auditor candidate. There is no county sheriff candidate, but you can go in there and write in a vote when you are voting today. And the same goes for the county attorney. This is a vacant position. Now we're breaking down the Democratic candidates for voters in the Rock Grove precinct in Floyd County. To represent Iowa's 2nd congressional district candidate is Sarah Corkery. For Democratic voters, here's what your ballot is looking like. For State Senator District 30, your one candidate is Richard Lawrence, or obviously you can write in a vote while you're there today. The state representative for District 60 has no Democratic candidate. Once again, you can write in a vote. There is no County Board of Supervisor District 3 Democratic candidate. But obviously you can write in a vote for this one as well. The county auditor has Liz Ham. County sheriff has no candidate. Todd Pritchard is the candidate for county attorney, and that position is vacant. So for both the Democratic and Republican ballot, there is no candidate for the county sheriff. So these were just some sample ballots that you can find on your county auditor's website. That's where I found them and was able to do some research ahead of time. So it's a great time today to kind of go out, do some research before you head to the polls today starting at 7 a.m.
Yeah, definitely all good things to know and good to kind of break down who's on what and what voters are going to be looking at today. Thanks so much, Charles. I'll check back in with you in just a little bit. In some other news this morning, the Rochester City Council and Destination Medical Center are now one step closer to bringing a new affordable housing center to town. Council members have approved a measure to support a developer up to $13 million in tax increment financing to build an affordable housing unit that will be on Mayo Civic Center's north parking lot. DMC was also included in the item, saying it would pledge $3 million in support for this project. The whole plan, which was approved, will cost an estimated $129 million. Meanwhile, the City Council has also given the green light for the final design of the Silver Lake Pool remodel. That includes a new bathhouse for the facility. The opening of that pool is set for 2026. We're told the Soldiers Field pool is still finalizing its remodel, and that is set to open this summer. A Rochester man is facing multiple drug-related charges after a search warrant was carried out last week. The Olmsted County Sheriff's Office says 25-year-old Abdikadar Ali of Rochester is facing controlled substance and possession charges. Around 9 Friday morning, a narcotics-related search warrant was carried out on Diamond Ridge Lane Northwest. And according to the Sheriff's Office, investigators arrested Ali after finding about 40 grams of crack cocaine and powder cocaine. We have an update now to a racial slur incident near Rochester Century High School. 4 teenage suspects have been identified, but no one has been arrested or charged at this time. Our Olivia Pronzinski spoke with the president of the Rochester NAACP and shares how that organization is looking for some accountability.
Almost 2 months later, NAACP President Wally Elegbede
This is an important first step.
stands on the bridge, once the face of a racial slur. Elegbede says words like that carry a dark history.
People have been killed, people have been lynched. This is not a joke.
Rochester police identifying 4 teenage males were behind the harmful message. Elegbede calling this the first step in accountability.
For us, this is not the end, this is part of it. We've also had conversations, at the state level, and this is something that, a lot of people are paying close attention to.
Now, as of Monday, no arrests have been made in this case, and the details have been passed along to the Olmsted County Attorney's Office for review of potential charges.
At the end of the day, these are young individuals, and what we're looking for there to be a learning opportunity from this. This is something that should not be taken lightly, but this gives us an opportunity to heal.
Elegbede explaining he wants to see the individuals become part of the solution, rather the problem.
They can definitely overcome this, depending on what they want to do.
Being just steps away from Century High School, community members theorize whoever is behind the message is a student, but nothing has been confirmed.
It's good to know that whoever did this got, caught, but at the same time, I don't want to wish any harm on people.
Elegbede reminding the community that Rochester should be a place of unity.
Ultimately, we want this to end with love.
Reporting in Rochester, Olivia Pronzinski, KTTC News.
Rochester Public Schools did release a statement stating that the findings are regrettable and that the district is grateful the investigation has concluded. We also did reach out to the Olmsted County Attorney's Office, and it says it is still too soon to comment on the matter. Today, you have the opportunity to learn how to save someone's life. There is a hands-only CPR workshop happening today at Winona Health. According to the health system, hands-only CPR, especially if performed immediately, can double or even triple a victim's chance at survival. This workshop is not for certification, but participants will come away feeling more confident in their ability to perform hands-only CPR, as well as using an AED and helping someone who is choking. So that workshop is from 6 until 7 tonight on the 3rd floor of the hospital in Winona. Kids, get ready to lace up your shoes and get out there and run. Today is the start of the 53rd season of the All-Comers Track and Field. Runners are going to be taking part in races and all sorts of field events at the Soldiers Memorial Field track. These meets are free for kids of all ages, and each one starts at 6 o'clock in the evening. We are going to get a full schedule of those upcoming dates through July up on our website for you. That's KTTC.com. It is 5:44 on a First Alert Day. We want to bring you everything you need to know to get your day started, at least for the weather and what you need to wear and bring on your day. So Ted is going to have more about that with the severe storms coming up.
It's Home Seasonal Concepts Memorial Day Patio Sale. Get 10% off sale.
I appreciate you being here early on this Tuesday morning. It is a First Alert Day, so we kind of have a lot to talk about in the weather department, of course. But if you are just tuning in, you might notice we're coming to you live from a different part of our station, our studio today, because our studio is having a little bit of a technical issue, and we want to make sure we can bring you the best news and weather coverage of the day. And so we're at our digital live news desk today.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun little change
It's
up.
the homey appeal
Exactly.
of the backwoods cottage, the brick walls.
A little more cozy.
Yeah.
But we still are going to bring you all of your news and weather.
No roaring fireplace.
We should get one of those. That would be
It's a
kind of
little
nice.
warm for a roaring
It
fireplace.
might be.
So,
Yeah.
That was last week.
Exactly.
Different season now.
All right, Ted, for this First Alert Day, what do we need to know?
Well, right now we're looking at some strong thunderstorms that may impact the area late in the afternoon. This is the second half of the day type thing. The morning, very warm, mild, sunny, benign. Afternoon, especially by the time we get closer to the evening commute, that's when things may get a little stormy. Right now, here's the current scene from our Louis Didaldo camera right now in Austin, looking at the rising sun. Just a couple of very thin clouds, very colorful sky, a very bright sun there, I might add, in the distance as we look toward the east along Interstate 90. It is our First Alert Day because of the threat of severe weather, most likely after 4 o'clock. In fact, maybe even later that for the vast majority of us. But as early as 4 for some, maybe of our western counties. A couple of strong storms will develop. We're looking at the large hail, damaging wind threat, and perhaps even as much as an inch of rainfall in some of the heavier storms that develop later this afternoon. Right now, no rain in sight here in southern Minnesota, North Iowa. There's rain to the west in South Dakota, hours away. That is some light activity, but will likely develop into something a little stronger later in the day. By the time it reaches us, again, we're talking about late afternoon, evening. The time frame here, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Again, for much of the area. Everything in orange is in level 2 risk for the Storm Prediction Center, that level 2 of 5 in that daily outlook from the SPC. Severe weather risk and large hail damage and winds, the primary concerns. Tornadoes not completely impossible, but a lower level of risk at this point, to go with the possibility of some of those downpours of rainfall. Here's the timing. 4 to 10 o'clock, the best chance for any thunderstorms, but severe weather threat primarily in that range as well. We'll see it develop to the west, moving eastward. Here in Rochester, it looks like something closer to 7 o'clock, maybe even 8 o'clock this evening with those storms. Right now, it's bright, mild morning, 60s and low 70s. Austin, 70 degrees right now. In Rochester, 65. Mason City, 65. Certainly a mild day to head to the polls in North Iowa and Mason City area, where you're talking about, of course, the Iowa primaries today. Temperatures very warm and very summer-like. Going to the afternoon, we'll reach the 80s in most spots. Sunshine, a few thin clouds. And future track, a brief shower is possible between noon and 4. Best chances of most widespread and strong activity between 4 and 10 o'clock. I see that line of activity moving in to Rochester 7 to 8 o'clock on this computer model, but possibly earlier than that. So still, again, anywhere from 4 to 10 o'clock, the primary time frame we're watching. After midnight, showers and storms move out, temperatures dropping to the 50s. Then tomorrow, 70s for highs. We'll see a brief shower or two in the afternoon, not severe weather, but as early as 2 o'clock until maybe just after sunset, there are going to be little pop-up showers along another cold front with a gusty breeze. It'll be breezy but drier on Thursday and cooler yet. High temperatures in the 70s next couple of days, mid-70s heading into the weekend. Look for some showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon today. Breezy and warm, 83 the high. South winds 10 to 20, gusting to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms this evening, clearing late, a low of 55. In a 7-day forecast, severe concern today, a first alert day because of that, but the coming days beyond this, looking a little quieter. A lot of seasonably mild weather, a lot of sun, and that weekend looking terrific right now.
Yes, it sure does. We always love when the weather on the weekends turns out to be good and pleasant.
Probably the best of the next 2 days we have any of those next 10 days.
Looking forward to that for sure. Thanks so much, Ted. Still to come this morning for KTTC News Today, some good news for your wallet when it comes to grocery shopping. We're going to have an update from the USDA next.
KTTC weather brought to you by Audi Rochester.
Prices may be going down soon, according to the White House, and the driving factor is not what you might think. The USDA is trying to even the playing field for poultry farmers. That should keep more money in your wallets down the line. New USDA guidelines aim to fight unfair and discriminatory practices in the poultry field. The Deputy Director of the President's National Economic Council says it's not only good for consumers, it's good for smaller poultry farmers all around the country. As inflation and grocery prices are declining, the Deputy Director says the President is pushing companies to be more transparent with customers and offer the best prices that they can. Dr. Pepper isn't showing any signs of fizzing out. The soft drink, which boasts a blend of 23 flavors, is now the second most popular pop in the U.S. Coca-Cola is still king, but Dr. Pepper kicked Pepsi from the runner-up slot to third place. According to Beverage Digest, Dr. Pepper sales have recently climbed while Pepsi's have dropped. Dr. Pepper debuted back in 1885 before Coke and Pepsi. And this morning, a nice cold beverage like a Dr. Pepper or maybe a Coke would be nice.
You know what? Yeah, so that's something cold. Yeah, you might be tempted on a day like today to have it go for the cold coffee too.
There you go. Get your morning started.
Yeah, iced coffee because it's a summer season type thing to do. I guess for some people. I was going with the black coffee either way. But
it's all good.
If you're into the cold iced coffee, you can do it today. Temperatures this morning, just shy of 70 degrees. That's how warm it is. It looks like we're going to reach highs in the mid-80s. It'll certainly be in the mid-80s in Charles City, Iowa. Here's a look for your election day forecast there. Look for some showers, some thunderstorms after about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Strong storms in that time frame. It is a first alert day because of the threat of large hail and damaging winds in those late afternoon evening storms. But a warm day to head to the polls, starting off just shy of 70. Again, 85 later today. We'll all be in the 80s this afternoon with that. Again, that threat of strong thunderstorms area-wide as early as 4 o'clock this afternoon. So it's something we're going to be watching. But again, otherwise, a very warm summer-like day. So something cold and refreshing, not a bad idea.
Yeah, sure sounds good this morning, doesn't it? Thank you, Ted. It is 5:57. As we just mentioned, it is primary election day in Iowa, so we have everything you need to know. Plus, a new bill is signed into law in the Gopher State. We'll tell you why law enforcement supports the measure when KTTC News Today returns.
KTTC Weather Academy.